So this little short video that we're going to talk about is rigging. And there's a lot of, not confusion, but there's many different facets of rigging, whether you're rigging stage rigging, whether you're talking about rigging for a crane, whether you're talking about rigging on a maritime vessel, whether we're talking about rigging for arboriculture, whether we're talking about rigging for rescue. Kind of what I want to bring that all together is anytime that we're using rope and hardware in an interface to move vertically or horizontally, that's rigging. Okay, so information you're going to want to use as a resource you can touch as well as get online, where we're going to encompass in this rigging thing. And again, from the tree side, we're going to go to Tree Climber's Companion. This and Knots at Work by Jeff Jepson are fundamentals for the canopy access side of rigging. Okay, and then we go to, again, you can't have too many books on knots and understanding how knots work and what that does to the textiles that you're using. You can't have too many books in that regard. And then we'll go to Brian Toss, who has made his living. He is a rigger, and he rigs vessels, sailing vessels primarily. So the Complete Rigger's Apprentice by Brian Toss. This is the first edition. I now have the bourbon-soaked second edition. Another great resource. And I'm going to try to tie this all together for you, how these different industries which have influenced arboriculture. Arboriculture in the United States is in its infancy in a lot of regards, and we draw much of what we do from many other centuries-old evolutions. So again, great resource. And then we'll go, a book that we sell, and another one that's handy, the Rigger's Bible and the Rigging Handbook. These really have nothing to do with tree work, but they focus on sling leg angles, cable characteristics, what happens when you choke a line, whether it be wire rope or textile rope, around a cylinder, and those ratings and deratings. This is the kind of stuff you want to dive into. And then certainly, again, good friend of mine, great person, Jerry Baronic's book, The Fundamentals of Tree Work, he really dives into a lot of fundamental rigging aspects that we use specifically in the tree. This book is out of print, but you can still find it on eBay. I'm really hoping that Jerry just puts it back into print again. A lot of the tools that are described and used in this book are outdated, but the methodology is still the same then as it is now. And then we continue to talk about rigging. Another aspect of rigging that gets used, and remember, rigging is anytime we're moving vertically and horizontally, we have tension and compression members. We get into our rescue rigging, right? Vertical Academy by Tom Briggs is a great book, and in my opinion, next to On Rope, is one of the ones that should be in your library as a resource for your crew members. Right? Anything, whether it's on printed page or something you can read online from Pat Rhodes, is the way to go. Right? We've got Rhodey's Guide to Rescue Knots, which really dives into the families of knots, where there's the bow and the figure of eight, and then the practitioner study about rope rescue rigging. This gets into rigging physics, and again transfers over to what we were talking about, like in the Rigger's Bible. That's rigging, okay? Right. On Rope by Smith and Paget. This is absolutely something that you want to have. If you're working on rope, this is a go-to resource. This shows the history of vertical ascent and descent on lines as well as horizontal issues. This is the book you want, On Rope. And there's a variety of high-angle rescue teaching manuals. I'm still stuck on the one by Vines and Steve Hudson, high-angle rescue techniques. And with that, and a lot of these when you get these, 1003, these high angle rope rescue technician guides, you're going to have a field manual with them. This is handy for referencing issues like setting up high lines, things of that nature. We have the level 1 and 2 4th edition, again, of this older manual that I have here. All right, then continuing on in the rigging, we've got Jerry Baronic's videos, access and movement in the tree, okay, as well as cutting and rigging in the tree. And this is specifically to arboriculture. Both of these videos, hands down, cannot be beat as a resource. If for nothing else, just the Discovery Channel kind of tone that you get by watching this. It's relaxing in that nature, if nothing else. And that's kind of wraps up our rigging a little bit. And as I said, rigging is a lot of facets. It's not just rigging and tree work. Even our climbing system, that's rigging. And that's something that you can spend a lifetime trying to learn and become good at.